You can't mandate trust, and the more you try to control it, the more you lose it. I've worked with hundreds of school leaders, principals, deputies, systems executives, and across all those conversations, one theme keeps recurring. We have the right policies, we've set the right clear expectations, but the culture still feels flat. Staff aren't engaging, energy is low, feedback is filtered or gone altogether. And when leaders try to fix it, more systems get added, more oversight is introduced, more pressure to comply is placed on already tired teams. But here's the hard truth I've had to say out loud in more than a few meetings. You can't compliance your way into connection, and you definitely can't mandate trust. Now, the trust dilemma is real, especially in schools. Leaders are held accountable for outcomes, but they're often not empowered to build the relational foundation that actually drives those outcomes. And when trust is missing, it doesn't always show up as resistance. More often than not, it shows up as quiet withdrawal. Now, let's unpack what I call the trust dilemma through 3 deeply familiar patterns and what human-centered leadership looks like on the other side. The first truth: control creates compliance, but it kills ownership. Now, one leadership team I worked with had strong systems, a well-structured improvement plan, and clear expectations, but staff, they just weren't showing up. And not with resistance, just disinterest. So the team tightened the screws. More agendas, more oversight, more micro-accountability. And guess what happened? Meetings went silent, feedback stopped, and one teacher told me bluntly, "We're not being led, we're being managed." That line stuck with me. The more tightly you control the room, the less truth you get from the people in it. Control creates short-term order, but at the cost of long-term engagement. Ownership doesn't come from top-down clarity, it comes from voice, from contribution, from shared problem-solving. If your systems prioritize predictability over participation, you may get compliance, but don't mistake it for culture. And when ownership disappears, what fills the vacuum isn't chaos, it's silence. Truth 2 is that silence isn't safety, it's self-protection. Now, in one school, a leader proudly told me, "We don't have a trust issue, our staff don't complain." That same week, I heard in a staff focus meeting, if you raise issues, it follows you. They say they want feedback, but not the real kind. You learn to stay quiet. Now, from the outside, everything looked calm, but calm doesn't always mean healthy. And when people go quiet, it's not always because they're content. Sometimes they're calculating the cost of speaking up. Psychological safety isn't about niceness. It's about the belief that your honesty won't be used against you. If meetings are quiet, if surveys come back overly positive, if staff say everything is fine, but the energy is low, don't assume it's working. Assume they're protecting themselves. Leaders who rebuild trust do 3 things. First, they ask, then they act. Second, they tolerate discomfort. And thirdly, they model the vulnerability they want to see. Because silence is a culture too, and it's rarely the one you actually want. But trust doesn't just return the moment after fear subsides. It has to be actively rebuilt through presence. And that brings me to truth 3, that trust is built through presence, not performance. I worked with a school undergoing massive change. New leadership, big system demands, staff anxiety was really high, and yet the culture was thriving. And when I asked why, staff didn't mention the vision statement or the new systems. They said, "We see our principal. They walk with us. We're not being led from behind a desk." It was simple. Not a program, not a training. It was presence. Trust isn't built in big moments. It's built in small, consistent ones. You don't need to be everywhere all the time, but you do need to show up where it counts and without an agenda. Not to correct, not to perform, just to be there. Because trust doesn't come from a policy, it comes from proximity. If you're navigating the trust dilemma right now, where performance is high but connection feels thin, where silence is growing but resistance is invisible, you're not doing it wrong. You're just working in a system designed for control, not for trust. But culture doesn't grow through control, it grows through connection. And connection doesn't begin with a new system, it begins with one leader choosing to show up differently. So if you're hearing less, don't assume everything is fine. And if you're feeling disconnected, know this: you don't have to have the perfect answer, you just have to be present. People trust the leader who listens before they speak. And that's where real culture begins again. Now, this is exactly the kind of conversations we explore in the Professional Wellness Workshop, a free space I've created for school leaders who want to lead with courage, clarity, and relational trust at the center. And when you register, I'll also send you an advanced copy of my new book, Culture of Excellence: The Path to Empowered Teaching, Inspired Learning, and Intentional Leadership. So I would love to hear in the comments, what have you learned about building trust in leadership? And what's made the biggest difference in your context? Please drop it in the comments. And like this video if it landed so that others can find it. Follow me for more clarity-driven leadership thinking, and share this with a colleague who's navigating the trust dilemma in their own school right now.